YouTube, how you doing? It's a boy xContextx to bring you all a special video. Before we start, I just wanted to personally say thank you for the support for this channel, and hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and it's your boy Context, signing out.
Alrighty guys, how you doing? It's the boy Context here, bringing y'all another video. Today is the second installment of my Free Talk Friday series. And I hope everyone's had an enjoyable week, hope everything's been good. And this gameplay is just another arena game I played with my two brothers and Vince. And we steamroll these kids. So, really not that much of a competition, we take the easy win. Just needed a gameplay though, so I could talk about today's topic. And that will be sports, but to be specific, the NFL playoffs. And I don't know how I didn't kill that guy. It was a tragedy. I got world starred. So this is being recorded. Like when I recorded the first Free Talk Friday, I'm recording this right afterwards. So just remember that when this video comes out, the wild card round will be over, but I'm making this pre-wild card weekend. So those teams are still in the playoffs. But yeah, so let's talk about the NFL season this year, and then we'll talk about the playoffs and the playoff pictures and my opinion. So I think that there was a lot of stuff going on in the league this year, and I think it was great for the league. I mean, besides the plethora of big-time injuries that really harmed a lot of teams and are hindering even playoff performances, cough cough, the Bengals and some other teams that are really missing some players. Been a good year, especially coming off the fact that no one was really talking about the NFL besides the whole the whole thing with the deflated footballs from last year. But I mean, you have these two rookie quarterbacks getting drafted first and second, in Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. One started hot, the other finished pretty well. They both had great years. You have emerging defensive players like Josh Norman and the Kansas City rookie just going huge. You got it's been a slow year for running backs. Devontae Freeman started hot, Adrian Peterson stayed consistent. You've had some other like explosive games, but it's really the story of this year was the injuries. That, and as someone who's a huge Peyton Manning fan, the whole this might be the last season, final ride, can we win a Super Bowl thing kind of matters to me. The shock of the year is obviously the fact that the Colts didn't make the playoffs even though they had a star-studded lineup and it just didn't fall well. Chuck Pagano, we thought he was going to get fired, but he didn't. And Andrew Luck started playing like crap and then didn't play the second half of the season. So, yeah. That's basically the year in... I mean, the Dallas Cowboys got a bunch of injuries. They got obliterated. The Giants choked every game they played in, or won every game they played in, which how it's always been. The Cardinals played huge. No one thought that Carolina would go 15-1. I could talk about every team individually. Things, honestly, in my personal opinion, and it's not because I'm from Philly and I'm a fan of Pennsylvania teams, but if we would have had, or if the Steelers would have had Le'Veon Bell this season, like the entire season, they would have for sure been a like Super Bowl contender. I don't think they are now about D'Angelo Williams or Le'Veon Bell, but that is what it is. Injuries, like I said, are the story of this year, and there's not much you can do about it. Besides that, this year has seen a record number of fines going out to players, my bad. And that's kind of to be expected with the way some of these guys are acting nowadays. But, yeah. I think that's going to do it for my quick summary of the league. I don't want to spend the entire video talking about that when I should be talking about the playoff picture, because the point of this series is relevant stuff. So, we have... I'm not going to talk about the individual matchups because this video is going to go out after the wild card game is over, or the wild card games are over, I should say. But I know that the Patriots were thinking, let's rest our players so that we can be healthy for the playoffs. But honestly, I think that first seed in the AFC matters a bunch. And giving it to my boys in Denver, I think is actually going to help us a lot. In my honest opinion, if we win the first game and Peyton Manning plays good, he's been named the starter. Regardless if we play Cincy or the Steelers, we should win with how good our defense is. If the running game comes to play and Peyton Manning just does his role, he doesn't have to be Super Peyton anymore. If he does his role, we should win pretty easily and play either Kansas City, who I think is going to win their matchup, or the Patriots. And the best part about it is if we do play the Patriots, we get home field. I'd honestly rather play them right now than play Kansas City the way they're looking, because they have been monstrous. And with the Royals winning, no one thought these Kansas City teams were going to make it anywhere, but they're just finding a way. And yeah, Cincinnati and the Steelers are slugged by injuries. Kansas City is looking pretty sharp. The Patriots are also rattled with injuries, so really is just a bad year, to be honest, for most of these teams. There's going to be a lot of... Okay, well, I guess I'm going to talk about the improvement of the second-year players real quick. Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater, a lot of these second-year, Blake Bortles, even, and these younger quarterbacks have had fantastic seasons. And then you have the Browns having another awful season, which is kind of to be expected, but I'm not going to flame the Browns organization too much. Sorry, Cleveland fans. And now we'll get back to the playoffs, and we'll talk about the NFC. So, obviously I'm not going to talk about the wildcard matchups, but, I mean, everyone's saying the Steelers are the number... Or not the Steelers, my bad. The Seahawks are the #1 team in the league right now on most of the power ratings and whatnot. And I understand they've been the hottest team, that's for sure, at the end of the season. But and their defense has come back to being T1, and everyone's saying they're going to stop Adrian Peterson, but like I said, this matchup would have already been decided by the time I post this, so we would know if he did get stopped or not. But I don't want to say I'm a Seahawk hater, but I'm not a believer. I genuinely don't think that this is their year of how much... Their past years of winning, the teams in the NFC haven't been as good as they are now. So, there's more of a challenge. Even teams, even like Washington, like Green Bay should be the team you expect to win, but most of the experts went with Washington just because they're more stable, they've been more consistent, and they're playing out of their minds right now for a team that has talent, but you wouldn't think that they'd play that good against someone like Aaron Rodgers, who has receivers that aren't getting open, a running game that is awful, and a defense that's not really holding their own. And then you have the two studs of the NFC right now, Arizona, who's just always plays solid. If they lose games, they lose games, but you can't count out the explosive plays they have. Bruce Arians is the coach, a great defense, great receivers and running backs. They have the full lineup over there. And then Carolina, it's basically the Cardinals 2.0, except they're doing it with no name brand players, really. Cam is turning Ted Ginn Jr. into a T1 receiver. Greg Olsen is really the safety blanket, but the fact that Cam is doing this makes him the automatic MVP. I don't care what anyone says. He is making players around him better, which is what Tom Brady normally does. But Super Cam is handling that now. And he also rushes the ball and he's flashy, so why not? Besides that, you have Minnesota, who I think is a great team. They made a lot of improvements this year. I think next season, the Oakland Raiders will have what the Minnesota Vikings have this year. Young quarterback, young running back, young team for the most part. Charles Woodson retired, unfortunately. But they're going to make it, and they're going to do well. So they're an off-color team. Minnesota can be a dark horse. And yeah, that's all I got for that. This game's about to end. I'm going to talk about the Hall of Fame real quick, and how I think it's fantastic. Well, some of my personal people that I think should have got in aren't getting in this year, but that's fine. We still have Marvin Harrison, T.O., Tony Dungy, and Brett Favre still in the contention. There's some players who I think should have got in that didn't, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. In the comments, of course, I want all your feedback on what you think about the NFL playoffs, your predictions, what you think of the season, what do you think about your team, all of that. Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, let me know with a thumbs up. And as always, subscribe for more content from me. That's all I got for you guys. Have a fantastic day, and this is xContextx signing out.